Hi there, welcome back. I'm Jill, for those of you who don't know me, and I am very happy to see you working out with me today. Thank you for making that choice for yourself, and thank you for choosing to work out with me. I know you have a lot of options when it comes to workouts, and it means a lot to me that you're here. Today's class is going to be entirely seated, except for our warm-up. We're going to do standing, and don't be intimidated by my chair. You're going to be using any chair that you have available at your house. So make sure that you have a set of dumbbells. You're probably going to want 3 and 5 pound dumbbells. I'm going to recommend 5 pounds for most of the exercises, but there is one that you might want something a little bit lighter for. And since most of our workout is going to be upper body focused, our arms might get a little bit tired. And rather than sacrificing form, I would rather that you switch to lighter dumbbells or no dumbbells at all. So we're going to do a very quick warm-up, and then we're going to head into our workout, which is 4 circuits. Each circuit has 2 exercises, and we're going to play around with the time a little bit in these circuits, and I really like the timer that we're going to use today. I haven't used it yet, so I'm excited to see how it goes. Let's make sure that your space is clear, you have your equipment close by, and we're just going to go ahead and get started with a little march in place. Our warm-up is going to be standing, but the rest of the workout will be seated. A couple of the exercises you don't have to do seated, so if you feel more comfortable doing them standing, then when we get to those exercises, I will let you know what they are, and you can do them standing. All right, so let's just start to take bigger, more exaggerated steps and pumping our arms, and you want to think about opposite arm and leg lifting at the same time. So as my right knee drives up, my left hand drives up, and then same as my left knee drives up, my right hand drives up. All right, we're going to be here for 6, 5, going into side steps in 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're just going to take a step from side to side. We're going to open up our chest. So as we open up our chest here, we're drawing our shoulder blades back in towards one another, which is called retraction. We'll talk about retraction in our workout. So we're retracting our shoulders, and then we're depressing them by drawing them down and back into their sockets. So we don't want them coming up next to our ears. Whew, my heart rate's starting to get up already. Can you hear the change in my voice? Here for 6. Gonna come into butt kicks in 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're gonna kick heel to glute. My palms are facing down. And again, I'm retracting my shoulder blades and depressing them down into their sockets. So if you want to add a little bounce here, you can add a little bounce here. So our warm-up is a very important part of our workout. It gets everything ready for the actual work in the workout, which enables us to work a little harder, which prevents injury. Here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're going to come with our feet a little bit wider than hip width distance apart. Brace your core, right? Give it a little tap. Make sure it's turned on. Front ribs knitted in. And we're going to twist to the right, twist to the left. Come back to center. Reach up with the right arm. Reach up with the left arm. This time I'm going to twist to the left, twist to the right. Come back to center. Reach up with my left arm. Reach up with my right. So I'm going to go to the right this time. Twist to the right, keep those shoulders retracted and depressed, twist to the left, come back to center, up and over. I'm going to go to the left this time. Left, right, center, left arm up and over, right arm up and over. So let's do that a little bit faster. Right, left, right arm, left arm. Twist left, twist right, left arm, right arm. Let's do 2 more. Right, left, right arm, and then left, right, right. And then let's just come into some arm swims here. So a little bit of a bend, not necessarily a bend, but my knees aren't locked out. Again, my shoulders are drawing down and back into their sockets even as I swim forward. So we do have a core exercise in each one of our circuits today that will be seated. So if you have a little squishy ball or a pillow close by, please grab that as well for our exercises. All right, stop at center, and then we're just going to take it back and in the opposite direction. So big arm circles here, but also working the core, getting the blood pumping to the shoulders, the arms, the chest, and the core. All right, we're here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, I'm gonna grab my timer and bring it closer to my chair. Hopefully you can still see that when it's close to the chair. If you need to stop and pause the video before we get started, stop and pause the video. Otherwise, I'm going to sit down in my chair and I'm going to grab that pillow or the ball or even a rolled up towel you could use, and I'm just gonna bring it between my knees. And our first exercise is gonna be a climbing the rope, that classic gym, you know, like the gym class, middle school climbing the rope. So for this, our core needs to be nice and engaged. So give it a little tap. Front ribs draw in and down, and the belly button draws in and up. And then squeezing the ball really engages the pelvic floor, which helps keep that core engaged. All right, I've talked enough. It is time to work. So we're gonna start for 30 seconds of climbing the rope, and we're on. I don't know why it didn't ding. So one hand and then the other. I want you to imagine that there's that rope hanging down from the ceiling, and I'm not drawing my shoulders up into my ears, and exhaling to contract the core, and then we're climbing up here. So lifting your waist up and out of your hips. Grab your dumbbells, and we're just gonna come into bicep curls. So palms facing forward, squeeze that ball, sit up nice and straight and tall. And we're gonna curl, palms facing forward. Exhale as you lift. Inhale as you lower. And again, squeezing the ball helps to keep not only the inner thighs engaged, but the core engaged. And when we do these upper body exercises with dumbbells seated, it actually makes it harder. Okay, carefully put those down. We're coming back to the climb the rope, but this time we're gonna do it for 45 seconds. So at the bell, we're gonna have 45 seconds of climbing the rope. So if you need to take a break at any time, you take a break and then hop back in. So I wanna point out that your obliques, the muscles that support your side body, are really working here. So even though this seems pretty easy, there are a lot of muscle groups involved in this exercise. And remember to pull your shoulders down and back into their socket as you come down with your hand. So exactly like you're climbing that rope in gym class. Okay, now we're gonna do that again for 30 seconds, and then we'll go to bicep curls, and then we'll do bicep curls for 45 seconds. So 30 more seconds of climbing the rope. Can you lengthen your waist up and out of your hips anymore? Imagine squeezing that imaginary pencil. Okay, carefully bend down, pick up the dumbbells, use your core to come back up, palms face forward. Bicep curls. So think about that string lifting your chest up towards the ceiling. Okay, so now we're gonna rest for 10 seconds, then we're gonna do bicep curls for 45 seconds. So that's a lot of time under tension there. So loop those shoulders down and back into their sockets. Squeeze the ball or pillow if you have it. And then very carefully lower with control, and then use that same control to lift the dumbbells. So I'm lifting for about a count of 3, which works against gravity, and I'm lowering for a count of 3, which definitely works against gravity, because honestly our arms just kind of want to have those heavy weights in them and fall down towards the floor. But we're getting good work in, good muscle building.
Activity completed.
Okay, and that's our first circuit. So that's what our timer looks like. It's one exercise, then another, then 45 seconds. And in this next circuit, I'm gonna do it a little bit differently. So we'll do the first exercise, then the second exercise, then we'll do the first exercise for 45 seconds. Then we're gonna start with the second exercise, go back to the first exercise, and then do the second exercise for 45 seconds. And this first one with those bicep curls, I wanted us to do 30 seconds and then 45 seconds consecutively, just because that's a really big muscle group. So go ahead and give your arms a little shake out. Maybe cross one arm across the body and then the other. And then go ahead and keep your dumbbells on the floor. We're gonna start with an alternating chop. So I'm gonna bring my arms up. My shoulders are down and back in their sockets, so they're retracted and depressed. And then I'm gonna cross body chop, bringing my right hand to my left knee, come back up to center, and then my left hand over to my right knee. Okay, so we're gonna start with that. So go ahead and bring your arms up. Exhale, right hand to the outside of the left knee, come back up, and then left hand to the outside of the right knee. Come back up, and then switch. So again, your core is getting a lot of work here, because we're having to keep ourselves upright, pulling the belly button in, back and up, and then drawing those front ribs down. Okay, carefully hinge at your hips, bend down, pick up the dumbbells, and we're gonna do a bent over row. So I want you to think again about that retraction and depression of the shoulders. So before you start to row, make sure that those shoulders are down and back in their sockets, and then start to row. So you're working into the muscles in your back. And this is one of those exercises that if you prefer to do it standing, you can do it standing. Inhaling as you lower with control, and then exhaling. Gently, carefully set those down. Come back to sit upright, lengthen your side body, organize your core, arms up overhead, and then touching opposite hand to the outside of the opposite knee. So I do have a slight tuck in my tailbone here, even though I'm sitting down. And you could do this with like a lighter weight or light dumbbell in each hand, but I think that's a lot of, that puts just a lot of tension on our shoulders, and our shoulders are made up of a bunch of tiny little muscles that we don't want to hurt, because then it takes forever to recover. Okay, so we're gonna come back into the bent over row for 30 seconds. So, hinging at your hips, which means staying long through your waist, and then doing a little squeeze of the elbows up at the top. So our elbows brush the side ribs as they come in. And then I want you to make sure that you're looking out in front of you and not down. So if you had a logo or a picture on the front of your shirt, I would be able to see it on the camera. Okay, put those down. Now we're going to come back to this chop for the last time. Sit up carefully with control. Engage your core. Slight tuck in the tailbone. And then right hand to the outside of the left knee. Slow and control. Bring it back up. And then left hand to the outside of the right knee. Exhale as you do the work to bring the hand back up. And inhale as you lower. So the stronger our core is, the safer our low back stays, and just the stronger that every activity that we do, whether it's in a workout or just in life, becomes. Back to the bent over rows for 45 seconds, so carefully bend down. Use your core to pick up those dumbbells. Drop your shoulders. Squeeze that imaginary pencil, even as the dumbbells come down by your knees. So this builds up the muscles, our lats and our deltoids, our lateral, our real deltoids, the upper shoulders, the back of the upper shoulders, and then the muscles in the back that run along the side body, all supporters in our core. So really our core is everything from our neck to the bottom of our buns.
Activity completed.
All right, that was our second circuit. Maybe wiggle it out. If you need to press pause and stand up and walk around a little bit, you can stand up and walk around a little bit. We have 2 more circuits in this workout, and the next circuit is the one where if you have lighter dumbbells, you might want to use them. Our first exercise in this circuit is just going to be a seated press. So I'm like a clamshell pressing the ball, right? So thinking about that shoulder retraction and depression, which means that the shoulders aren't coming up towards the ears like tacky 1980s what are they called? Shoulder pads or cheap clip-on earrings, right? They're staying far away from the ears. And then I want you to think about bringing those elbows in towards one another. So we're working all these muscles in our chest up here, and we're also working the fronts of our shoulders, those muscles that we use when we pick things up, like a heavy grocery bag or, you know, just anything in life that you're picking up. Okay, that's enough talking for me. I could talk all day. We're going to start for 30 seconds with that ball press. So bring it between your hands. So the ball is about face height for me. And then I'm lifting my elbows and pressing them down. But the entire time, I have that imaginary pencil between my shoulder blades. So if I was standing behind you and I put my finger between your shoulder blades, you would squeeze it. And then think about those cues for our core. Belly button back in and up. Okay, so now you're going to pick up those dumbbells very carefully. Elbows bent 90 degrees, palms facing each other. We're going to do a bent arm lateral raise and then a front press or a tree hugger, and then come back into the bent arm lateral raise. So this is a lot of movement here, which is why I suggested maybe lighter dumbbells. And if your lighter dumbbells even feel too heavy, then you're going to switch to no dumbbells, and we're going to do the move without the dumbbells. All right, so now we're on to the press for 45 seconds. So bring the ball about pillow, ball, smushed up towel, whatever you have. And then we're gonna press the ball and draw the elbows down. So I'm working into shoulders, chest, upper back. So are you tense and tight in your shoulders? If you are, drop them down into their sockets. 45 seconds is a lot here. I know this workout seems like it's not a lot, but these are all, like, you're gonna feel these tomorrow. My lower body was really sore, so I planned this workout to be all upper body. I have a feeling tomorrow my whole body's gonna be sore. Okay, so bring that ball back between your knees, carefully bend down. We're coming back to those bent arm lateral raises. And the tree hugger. And if the tree hugger, pressing the dumbbells, the front press, is too much, then just focus on the bent arm lateral raises. And as you press those dumbbells out front, we're actually not protracting our shoulders, like I'm not separating my shoulder blades. I'm keeping them retracted, hugged back into their sockets. All right, ball presses for 30 seconds. So this will be the last time we see the ball press. And then after that, we'll do the raises for 45 seconds. So I think I talked in the last video or 2 videos ago about the importance of exercise and our brain health as we age. And I read another article yesterday about dementia and Alzheimer's and how exercise is actually such a good preventative measure against dementia and Alzheimer's. Okay, ball back between the knees, hinge from the hips, pick up the dumbbells. This is gonna be the tough one. 45 seconds of those bent arm lateral raises, front presses. And it's not that it eradicates the traces of dementia or Alzheimer's from the brain. It's that exercise actually creates new, if you think about it as doorways, and with dementia and Alzheimer's, those doorways get blocked so that our nerves can't communicate, right? But as we exercise, we create new doorways, and so we're keeping our brains healthy by moving. So walking, lifting weights, swimming, playing tennis, playing pickleball, anything that you enjoy doing that's active is so good for your brain. And it just, not only is it good for our bodies to keep us strong and living a good life for a long time, it also keeps us mentally sharp. And then there's the benefits of the endorphins, right? You can't buy endorphins, you can't take a pill for endorphins. They're those feel-good neurotransmitters that our bodies create as we exercise. And those are good for mental health in terms of mood. And, you know, they're so good for counteracting anxiety and depression. So the more consistently we show up, and everything says 150 minutes, which is like 30 minutes, 5 times a week, right? It's not a huge commitment. It's just a commitment that you make to yourself. Okay, we have one more circuit. We're gonna put the ball down somewhere that we can come to it again. We're gonna sit up nice and straight and tall, elbows out wide, fingertips behind the ears, and we're gonna do a seated cross body crunch. And if it's too much to lift the knee, you can just twist and twist with the elbows, okay? And then we're going to do a double dumbbell chest press. So we're gonna hold the dumbbells together like this at chest height, and we're gonna press them up and bring them down. Press them up and pull them down, okay? So those are our 2 moves. We don't need the ball. If you do want to use the ball for the dumbbell move, you can bring it between your knees, but that's a lot of grabbing the ball, putting it between your knees, and then switching, grabbing the dumbbells. So we can do without the ball for this round, unless you really, really need it, and then which case we use it. All right, I'm gonna get us going here on our timer. Cross body crunches. So elbows are out so wide that as you come through center, you really can't even see them in your peripheral vision. And I'm not scrunching myself down, right, to bring, I'm thinking about lifting my knee towards my elbow more than drawing my elbow down towards my knee. And mine aren't touching. I'm not suggesting that you should be able to bring your elbow or your knee all the way up towards your elbow. Okay, carefully hinge at the hips. You can even bring your fingertips to those hip creases. Now pick up the weights, engage your core to come up, bring the dumbbells chest height, watch your face, and then press. So I'm pressing my palms into one another to press the dumbbells together, and then I'm using my chest to press those dumbbells overhead. My core is working a lot here, right? Draw those front ribs in like you've got that crochet needle and you're knitting them in towards one another. And if you're not quite sure what I'm talking about, when we're done with this class, get on your computer and Google the anatomy of the ribs, and you'll see that these front floating ribs, like I'm imagining that I'm looping them in towards one another and pulling them down. So everything hugs in towards the midline of my body. And you can squeeze your glute here too as you lift your leg. So lots of ways to work our core here today that aren't lying down on the floor doing boring old crunches. Nobody wants to do that. Make sure that those shoulder blades stay hugged in towards one another. Woo, 45 seconds is long for that. Okay, shake out your arms. Now we're gonna come back into those chest presses, so carefully bend down, engage your core, come up, bend your elbows, bring those dumbbells together, lift and lower. So you can be a little faster on the lift than on the lower, but lower with control. Use that core. So the muscles in our chest, our upper back are working against gravity there. Okay, so last time here for those cross-body crunches. Find that slight tuck in your pelvis, and then lift the knee as you twist the elbow towards the knee. Blow out those birthday candles as you twist. All right, we have one last round here. So with control, bend down, pick up the dumbbells, bring them to your chest, 45 seconds of these chest presses, and then we're gonna do a very quick stretch, and I'm gonna send you on your way. So remember, 150 minutes, doesn't have to be 150, it can be more, it could be a little bit less, but aiming for 150 minutes a week of activity is ideal for brain health. And there are days when we don't want to do it. I'm not saying every day is awesome and feels great and yay, we're ready to go, but when we think about how we feel afterwards and the long-term positive effects, it makes it a lot more motivating to get out there and get moving. All right, how are we doing on time? We're gonna do a little cross-body stretch here. My new camera only records for like 29 minutes and 45 seconds. So that's why these exit workouts have been a little bit shorter, but to be honest, I really like it because then you can get out and go for a walk or do something else too. Okay, I want you to stretch your arms a little bit more than we're gonna do here.